Mallorca, continuing our search for the greatest driving road in the world. We're going 2 roads, and this is the first. And it's just beautiful. We can go no further. What a view.
A couple of years ago I went to Mallorca on holiday, and I was lured there by sort of tales of great cycling roads and warm weather, I suppose. Like most people, I've probably thought of Mallorca as sort of a bit of Brit abroad, beach holiday, package tours, Magaluf, I suppose, above all else. But what I found there was just out of this world, to be honest. And whilst I was cycling up all these amazing mountain roads, all I could think was, I wish I'd got a proper car to come here and drive in. I tried to think what the perfect day would be on Mallorca in terms of driving, and I knew we'd have to get up early. I thought we could start out at Cap Formentor, because it's, well, you get the sunrise out there and it's this amazing peninsula, and then we'd steadily work our way across to other roads on the island. The road out to the lighthouse at Cap Formentor is fairly obviously a dead end. And after we'd driven it once, we established that we had the place to ourselves, apart from the odd goat and the odd rock they might have dislodged. Of course, even with an empty road, you still need the right car. The new Porsche Boxster GTS essentially cherry-picks the juiciest things from the options list, wraps them up in a lovely Alcantara package, and charges less than if you'd spec them individually on a Boxster S. Amongst other things, you get, as standard, PASM adaptive dampers, 20-inch wheels, a sport chrono pack with dynamic transmission mounts, a sport design steering wheel, a sports exhaust, and sportier seats. There are a few visual changes, most obviously at the front where you get black air intakes, while at the rear you also get a new diffuser, some black badges, and slightly questionable smoked lights. The 3.4 litre flat 6 has small power and torque increases over a Boxster S, taking its totals up to 325 brake horsepower and 273 pounds-foot of torque. This is enough to drop the 0 to 60 mph time to just 4.7 seconds with the manual gearbox and 4.4 seconds with the PDK.
The Boxster GTS might be slower with manual rather than PDK, but the 6-speed box, as we've said before, is just an absolute joy to use. I love the way this road changes as you get further and further out into the sea. You start off amongst the trees and then you get out amongst all these rocks and you just see the road across these little inlets. And sometimes you think the road must surely be going to turn back on itself.
Lovely as it is to see the sunrise from beneath the lighthouse, there was another incentive for getting up at dawn to drive this road. The reason is that after about 9 AM, it goes from being one of the most wonderful driving roads in the world to the worst. Coaches, cyclists, hire cars, whatever he's doing, they all begin flocking to this rocky peninsula, clogging the road in the process. Obviously they have every right to come and enjoy it too, but it's time for us to leave. Just before we left all the crowds behind completely, there was one place that we needed to go to, just to sort of pay homage really to the person that built both the roads that we were really there to visit. It's fairly unassuming really, but it's on this wonderful outcrop looking over Porto Poyensa, and it's to Antonio Peretti, who was an Italian engineer who designed both the roads. Driving down from Formentor, the spectacular Tramontana Mountains loom up behind the bright white buildings of Porto Poyensa. It's there that we're heading, and there are numerous wonderful cols that we could take to get up into the mountains. None are for driving quickly in the height of the day's traffic, however, so it's best just to enjoy the views and then find somewhere to have an ice cream, or a siesta, or possibly just find another Porsche to play with. Come about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you notice a hush begin to fall as the crowds start to dissipate. Time to head to the evening's entertainment, Sacalobra. The road to get to Sacalobra, it's about, so you go under this stone archway, which was an aqueduct in years gone by, and there's a sort of about 3 miles, I suppose, 2-3 miles when you get up to the top of the col, which are pretty spectacular in themselves. But when you come over the top through this rock cutting, it just gets ridiculous. Built in 1932, Sacalobra drops nearly 700 metres in its 10-kilometre length. Most of that descent seems to be in the first half. Staggeringly, it was built without machines, and Antonio Peretti designed it so that no tunnels had to be blasted through the rock. Instead, it works with the landscape in the most beautifully sympathetic fashion. Because Sacalobra is a dead-end road, just like Cap Formentor, we drove all the way down to the bottom, down to the coastline, and then turned around and headed back up. It starts off, you come through these sort of 2 bits of rock which almost form a tunnel, these 2 huge slabs, and the car just sounds amazing going through there. And then you start off through these little sort of baby hairpins, or sort of like nursery slopes before you get to the bigger hairpins up above. And then it's a sort of a rock garden, and then you come out onto the sort of the main landscape, which is sort of grey and green with all the pampas grass, and it just, you can't believe that somebody has managed to build a road all the way to the top.
It's narrow, but it's just wide enough, and the side lines are actually really good, so you can actually enjoy it knowing full well what's coming up. And it is just beautiful. Forget anything you might have seen on mainland Spain. Mallorca is a whole other level. The Tramontana Mountains are just unbelievable. And Antonio Peretti, thank you. There is real artistry to this road. The way that it works with the landscape, it's just absolutely amazing. First gear for these hairpins. You can really enjoy it then. The surface is actually quite slippery, so you get a fair bit of oversteer even through the quicker corners in this. Then as you reach the top and you go under this bridge, you get the crowning Hot Wheels cherry on the cake right at the top of the Sacalobra, with this bit of road that goes round 270 degrees on itself. and back over the top. Just amazing. I love the sound of this car.
I'm so glad we got up so early and stayed up so late, because it just makes the best of the roads in Mallorca. And I really think they are arguably the most beautiful roads anywhere in the world. Whether they're the greatest driving roads or not, well, I was sitting there trying to decide that then, and to be honest, all I could think to do was just go for another drive.